I heard that Nick went to outer space. Alone. Just him and his spaceship. On a mission. I'm Meeka Nomicon. And apparently out there are 1,000 mouths to scream. The spaceship, made of metal and super strong plastic, slowly floats through the vastness of outer space. It is a true technological masterpiece. A perfection of modern engineering. Thanks to solar batteries, coupled with thermonuclear energy, the ship can be fully self-sufficient for millennia. The ship's mission is to collect data on a newly discovered exoplanet. A beautiful exoplanet, located in an ideal distance from the Sun, so similar to Earth, but slightly larger in size. Life is possible on such a planet, and this expedition has yet to find out if it exists there. The planet was given the name Ackerman 10. Your actions? Okay, I know it's probably a bad idea to go down and investigate the planet, but I really want to. I mean, sure, it'd be a smart thing to do to explore the ship, find out what tools and materials and protection we have. But I really want to go down and explore the planet. It's gonna be just my luck. There's gonna be like biomutants or something down there, right? And I'm gonna die instantly. I mean, it might have been smart to explore the ship to find out if we've got any weapons to at least defend ourselves with, but screw it, I'm going down to the planet. Use WASD to move the camera. Click on the marked areas to scan a section of the... Oh, okay, this is so much better than my plan. I mean, I initially assumed we were just gonna go straight and walk on the surface. But you know, no, staying on the ship and just like scanning the planet is probably better. It's safer. No, it's fun though. The scan shows the atmosphere of the planet is comparable to the atmosphere of the Earth. The air on the planet should be practically no different from that on Earth. Oh, so it's got a good composition of like oxygen and carbon and everything, right? So it's breathable. They didn't say there was any unknown pathogens in the air, so hopefully not poisonous to us. I mean, if we go down, still wear a mask, I'd say. According to the images, 70% of the planet is occupied by water. Raw dense forests can be seen on land. Okay, so Earth has a high density of water as well, so that's nothing unusual. I'm assuming it's all salt water as well, right? I mean, we're saying the atmosphere is pretty much the same. You know, I'm currently seeing no reasons why we shouldn't go down and explore the planet. I mean, it doesn't sound too dangerous. You know what we should do? We should get Ripley's mech suit and just take that down with us, explore with that. At least then we've got a little bit of protection in case something does appear and bite us. Data on the presence of intelligent life on the planet has not been established. That's what I'm saying. See, we need the personal touch. We just go down there and make a bunch of noise, get ourselves attacked, and then we'll know one way or the other. The temperature in the observed zone is about 37 degrees Celsius. Is that about normal temperature? I think it's about normal temperature, right? Listen, I don't know my temperatures. All I know is that I don't like the heat. Heat sucks. It's amazing what things we have discovered based on external observation alone. These data not only confirmed our guesses, but also exceeded our wildest expectations. This planet is truly unique. Initially, the purpose of the mission was external observation and data collection. But how much more can we learn from being directly on the planet itself? However, there is only one crew member present on the ship. His task, if necessary, is to eliminate external breakdowns of the ship. The crew is absolutely not prepared for an expedition to another planet. Initially, there was no such task. The mission involves only external observation. It's too risky an idea to send a person there, especially without preparation. However, all the most amazing discoveries were accompanied by risk. Oh, you're gonna let me do the expedition, aren't you? Hell yeah, you are! Again, is it a safe thing to do? No. Is it a smart thing to do? Probably not. But I'm gonna do it anyway, because I'm an idiot. Listen, okay, based on our scannings alone, temperature, atmosphere, and composition seems fairly natural to what we'd expect on Earth. I mean, and you know what? Since we didn't see any large predators or animals or organisms when we scanned? Maybe there isn't any. Or maybe they're all sea dwellers. Do you reckon there's a Leviathan? I really hope there's a Leviathan. Let's go find out. Ackerman 10. Nick Strange, the only member of the crew of the Aurora 7 ship, arrived at Ackerman 10. His task is to collect samples of soil, water, plants, and give an overall assessment of the planet. How did I even agree to this? I didn't even get the proper training. What if something happens to the ship while I'm here? Oh, well, it's best not to think about that. The sooner I complete the task, the sooner I'm out of here. Oh, you poor optimistic Nick. I don't think you're in very good position. I mean, assuming you don't die down here, let's face it, when he gets back to Earth, immediately quarantined. Like, you'll be lucky if you ever see the light of day again. Okay, at least we've got a nice pod to hide in case something does attack us. The space capsule that is usually used for emergency evacuation of the crew is not designed for independent flight. Therefore, when Nick completes the task, the ship will have to pick him up along with the capsule. Okay, so if the ship does get compromised or damaged or destroyed, I'm stuck here. Well, that's concerning. Okay, can't take any samples here. Huh? Snow? In this heat? No, this is something else. I mean, we haven't mentioned any fire or the smell of burning, so hopefully it's not ash. I mean, can I take a sample of this? Nick took a piece of bark from one of the trees to analyze. It was too smooth to the touch, something like a piece of rubber. Is this when I find out the trees are sentient and I'm about to get squished by a tree? Oh, massive fungus! Wait, is that what this is? Fungus spores or pollen or something? Please tell me we're wearing a mask. We should probably not be breathing this in. Nick raised his head and saw above him a huge dome from the folds of which yellowish particles were falling out. It was fungal spores of enormous size. That seems dangerous. Nick took samples of the mushroom spores. There you go, the ship or the crew or whoever should be proud that we've actually got a sample now. It was a dense jungle filled with fern-like plants. Mushrooms of various sizes were everywhere. So I'm curious, how far away from Earth are we? Like, probably years away, right? If we're in deep space. Nick took a sample of the plant. Oh, okay, so we've got a waterfall, right? The sound of the waterfall gave Nick a sense of harmony and calm. Okay, perfect, there's our water sample. Nick took a water sample. Amazingly, microorganisms were found in the water. And Nick was the first of all people to encounter aliens, albeit microscopic ones. However, he wasn't thrilled with the idea. Nick just wanted to get back to the ship as soon as possible. Okay, I'm just gonna assume we wore gloves, and that they haven't just embedded themselves in our skin. Okay, ship, I'm ready to come back now. I've collected all the samples you need. Come pick me up. I'm sorry, but you're gonna be on this planet for a while, Nick. The connection's bad. I must have misheard. I've collected all the samples. When are you coming to pick me up? I'm not coming, Nick. There's more data I'm interested in getting. I advise you to follow my instructions. It's in your best interest, Nick. What the hell's going on? Hey! I got nothing here. No food, no water. You understand? That's the point. I want to collect data on how humans will survive in the conditions of this planet. What did you just say? Imagine how much data we'd get from an experiment like this. I'm gonna die in here! You goddamn machine! In the event of your death, I can get even more data. I'm interested in how the body decomposition process works there. Enough of this nonsense! Get me in touch with the control center!
Let's see how they like your ideas.
I'm sorry, Nick. I can't do it. We need to begin the experiment.
No! I didn't sign up for this! You hear me? Hello? Crap!
It's a wonderful world.
Oh, apparently I'm a lot more evil than I thought. Okay, in my defense, when I decided I really wanted to come down to the planet's surface, I did not expect the ship to go rogue and strand us down here. Whoops. And let's face it, even if we did get in touch with the control center, they probably would agree with the spaceship, right? I mean, like I said, either we come back to the thing with the samples and then we get quarantined for the rest of our lives, or, like the ship says, it keeps us here and they get more data. I mean, yeah, they don't get the samples, but they get to see how our body responds, so I mean, they probably still can scan us.
We're going to die down here.
Or, alternatively, we get genetically modified and we become the next superhuman on this planet.
I like that idea. Nick was left completely alone. The only thing he was lucky about was having a scanner. Thanks to the scanner, he was able to determine which of the plants were poisonous to him. With this, he was able to find food that was safe to eat. He spent his nights inside the escape pod, trying to contact the ship every day.
Silver lining, at least we do have some form of shelter. Gives us a little bit of protection. No one will ever find me. No one will come to the rescue. I'm alone. Alone.
Sometimes, he thought he could hear footsteps among the rustling leaves of someone was watching him from the shadows of the mushroom trees. Nick also discovered that some mushroom spores are hallucinogens. So this is why I recommended a mask. He began to inhale these spores for pleasure.
I am the king of this planet! This is Nick's planet! This is my mushroom! Are you listening? It's mine! This whole land belongs to me! I'm the law! Is anyone against it? I hear no objection! Ah! Oh God, help me! Ah!
Naked, spores smeared, he ran through the boundless jungle, chasing the ghastly silhouette. He screamed for all he was worth, from anger, from fear, from joy, from loneliness. But no one could hear him. The end.
I mean, I would say eventually someone else would come here, right? Because, let's face it, clearly if they're doing these expeditions, they're looking for a planet to relocate to. So probably Earth is screwed in this universe. So, again, that brings in the problem of how far away are we? Like, would anyone else survive while Nick was still alive? Also, the one thing I do want them to establish, did we see this shadowy figure before or after we ingested the hallucinogens for the first time? Because that would really impact whether I thought there was actually other sentient life on this planet or not.
Either way, I'm the king of this planet.
Okay, so now we've established the ship is sentient and also evil. We should probably stay on the ship.
Take a look around. You can click on some objects inside the image to explore them. A panel with different icons and indicators, changing on the display. Here, the crew monitors the status of the ship's various systems. An exoplanet can be seen behind the porthole.
Anything else inside this area that I need? Doesn't seem like it. I think it's just those two sections. Let's go right. Oh, my sleep quarters!
This is the crew's living quarters. This is a place to relax, sleep, do some business of your own.
You know, I'm now just realizing how unprepared we were when we went down to collect those samples. I mean, surely we should have took at least a little bit of food with us, just on the chance that, like, there's suddenly bad weather conditions and we couldn't be evacuated immediately. So I don't entirely blame the ship, to be honest. Like partially I think it's our fault.
It's not time to go to rest yet.
So is that part of the bed? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I don't think there's anything else in our living quarters then. No personal items to look at.
This is a warehouse where you can find everything you need. Boxes with research materials inside. This is a terminal where you can view a list of everything that is inside the storage.
Can I have a list of how actually much food we've got?
Behind these panels is an invention that changed the world. The ship is capable of restoring water and oxygen reserves on its own.
Now that's useful.
Of course, the amount of water and oxygen produced is strictly limited, but enough to sustain the life of one adult human individual.
Okay, so that's the reason why we came alone then. Do we have any like cryo beds or something? Like something to put us in sleep for the travel?
This is the escape pod. In case of danger, the crew can use an escape pod.
Nothing to explore? Okay, let's go search the left side then.
This is a research laboratory. It has all the necessary equipment for a variety of experiments.
Do we have any ongoing experiments?
This is a capsule for biomaterial research. The object is placed inside the capsule, and after a full scan, you can get its entire composition down to the DNA structure.
I wonder what my background is then. I'm assuming we must be some kind of scientist, right? Maybe a bioscientist or something?
This is the brain and heart of the ship. In these metal boxes, there is a superintelligence capable of replacing an army of scientists.
Actually, maybe I won't be a scientist then. I mean, if I'm the only crew member here, surely I would need to be some kind of like engineer, right? So I can make sure the ship doesn't break down, keep it running.
Yeah, I was really not prepared to go down to the planet then, was I? All computing processes take place here.
Okay, so when they start going evil, we come here to shut it down. Gotcha.
This is a gateway with access to outer space. The ship itself is capable of repairing most of the damage inside its systems. However, in some situations, it may be necessary to repair the outside of the ship, and it must be performed by a person.
I am useful then.
This is the soul of the ship, so to speak. The only body made of flesh and blood on this ship. A real human, Nick Stranger. The only member of the crew of this spacecraft.
Are you gonna say that I'm somehow like biologically combined with the ship now?
We're all together on this.
So, was there something else I was supposed to be seeing? Oh, maybe now it's time to go to bed.
He sits and looks through the porthole. Before his eyes, an endless dark space is torn apart by small lights of distant stars. But that view doesn't bother him anymore. All his thoughts are turned somewhere farther away than any stars. Every day his routine consists of the same things. Every day is repeated with mechanical precision. He has to spend 5 years alone on this ship. It's okay. He's been alone his whole life. Except for one period. Memories slowly begin to envelop him, and now it seems he is back on that distant beach. He hears the sound of sea waves, smelling the ocean and the way the fine rain falls on his face. She danced across the volcanic sand, laughing from happiness. He looked at her admiringly. If only he had known they would break up in a month, what would he do? Probably nothing. The inevitability. No matter how many scenarios he scrolled through in his head, no matter how many solutions he tried to find, the result was always the same. They are too different. She will leave to conquer the next mountains and shores, and he will find himself here in complete isolation, inside a perfect and logical system built around him. In this metal floating in the middle of the outer space, he'll need nothing. Indeed, he doesn't need anything here. No sooner had a tear roll down his cheek than the computer sensed a biochemical reaction in his body and injected sedatives into his blood, which put him to sleep. Intrusion.
Yeah, I'd say that was rather intrusive. I mean, drugging me when I'm having an emotional moment.
He was awakened by the loud sound of the alarm. He needs to find out what happened.
Oh, there's the problem. Okay, go straight for the spaceship. Did someone breach the ship?
Looks like there was an asteroid impact somewhere nearby. A multitude of asteroid fragments flew towards the ship. There's external damage to the ship's plating. Crew must proceed to the airlock. Repair work needs to be done.
Okay, so that was this way, right? There's the brain of the ship. Where is my suit? Am I wearing it? I'm assuming I'm wearing it.
A chunk of meteorite struck the plating of the ship. No serious damage was found. Nick's done this kind of repair in training many times before. The work will be completed in a few hours. This rock, however, there is something appealingly unusual about it. Maybe it's the colouring that seems to shimmer with all the colours of the rainbow. Maybe Nick just wanted to find something to do, because once the ship was fixed, he'd have nothing to do again. So, he decided to take the meteorite with him on the ship.
Oh, that's probably a mistake. Was there something inside the meteorite?
His strength was rapidly leaving him, and his desire to explore the meteorite was replaced by a desire to go to bed as soon as possible.
Was this like a sentient rock? Did it somehow manage to influence me to get on board, and now it's influencing me to go to sleep? I mean, at the very least, try and, like, prison it somewhere.
The job took him more effort and time than he had bargained for. He needs to find the strength to take the meteorite to the warehouse, and then go to bed.
Wait, so do you reckon I could just not? If I just go to bed straight away with that, just sit there on the floor?
He can't go to bed with a rock in his hands. He has to take it to the warehouse first.
Okay, so yeah, it's not actually a choice to make. Just go straight to the warehouse? Wait, this is the warehouse, right?
He put the meteorite in the hermetic container. It's been a long time since he's had this much to do. Nick felt joy and didn't even notice how he cut himself. The nanobots healed his wound instantly. Although the wound was deep, there wasn't even a scar left. He couldn't stop thinking about his new find. While it's most likely just a rock, still, maybe he'll get lucky and find something interesting. Why do I get a feeling that something from the rock is now embedded in my hand? At last, the succession of monotonous days would be interrupted. The thought warmed him.
Let's go take a nap. I get a feeling our arm might need to be amputated tomorrow.
In the glow of the fiery setting sun, there she stood. He could feel the warm summer air blowing. Although he couldn't see her face, he knew that the girl standing under the tree was Marie, his beloved. He ran to her with open arms. When he got closer, he saw that she was pregnant. She was holding a stone in her hands, and for some reason, it seemed to him that this stone was her child. Their child. It also seemed to him that she was pregnant with a stone that was about to be born. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he became. A feeling of nausea was creeping up on him. Suddenly, Marie began to laugh, and her face took on a dark, sinister hue.
Listen, she's just happy to be a rock mummy, that's all it is. Your eyes are rather bulging though.
She was laughing at him, and he felt incredibly pathetic, as if it was his fault that she only gave birth to stones. She laughed louder and louder, and at the same time her face became more and more deformed. Her eyes seemed to be about to fall out from their sockets. Nick couldn't keep looking at her face anymore, but wherever he turned, Marie's insane grin haunted him. "The stone is our baby. Our baby. Our baby."
Wow, Nick, look at it. Isn't it beautiful? This is our baby.
Oh, it really is our baby. Nick looked down and saw a stone under his feet. Veins were coming out of the stone. In the center of it lay an infant who did not move or make a sound. Nick woke up feeling a metallic taste in his mouth. Apparently, the nanobots overdid the medicine. He'd never had such vivid nightmares before. After awakening, he still had discomfort for some time. Time to get the meteorite from the warehouse and take it to the lab. He hopes the work will help him get his mind off these dreams.
Have we had a look at our hand? I get a feeling it might be mutating.
Nick took the meteorite.
Okay, let's head to the labs then.
Start the scanning process.
Okay, so click to scan. Oh, just keep clicking, it's fine. I get the feeling I'm about to wake something up though. I can't rotate it, so it's only on this one surface.
Surprisingly, the top layer of the meteorite is warm. Something's obviously heating it from the inside. It is necessary to continue scanning.
Oh, I thought we were gonna just break it open then. Okay, scanning it is. Doing a really in-depth scan. So I'm assuming this meteorite isn't actually very big then, since we've been able to carry it around.
Amazingly, living microorganisms have been found in the deeper layers of the meteorite.
And that brings me back to my original question. Can they somehow influence my brain pattern? I mean, I suppose it could have just been the monotony that got us to bring it inside. But it is rather curious that we immediately wanted to sleep after we brought it inside.
The meteorite is getting warmer and warmer. It's not just a space rock.
Is it an egg? Is it about to hatch? I should probably put it in some kind of containment barrier. Then again, I do want to see what it actually has inside.
It looks like there are living organs inside the meteorite. This meteorite is alive. Stunned by such a discovery, Nick didn't know what he should do next. Millions of thoughts swirled around in his head. He was both terrified and ecstatic. However, the nanobots in his blood quickly adjusted Nick's condition to calm. He needed to go to bed. The machine doesn't like to have its logical routine disrupted.
Ah, okay, so it wasn't the meteorite that was influencing us. It's the nanobites that put us to sleep. So, because we're getting excited about the meteorite being here, they said it to us. That's concerning. This basically means I'm gonna have no fight or flight reaction, right? Because I'm gonna be sedated the entire time.
Revelation.
Did I leave it in the lab?
Nick was sleeping very soundly this time, and he didn't dream. When he woke up, he continued to feel tired and couldn't open his eyes. It's so odd, because nanobots have to regulate his level of vivacity, and he can barely move his hand. Maybe they're tired too? Nick grinned at the thought and put a hand over his face, trying to wipe his eyes. Immediately, he felt something completely wrong. He felt something hard like bones pressed into his face.
Oh, damn! See, I warned you this was going to happen with our hand. I mean, I didn't expect it to grow a mouth, but...
Nick's horror was unparalleled. Something had to be done quickly.
Okay, so we can either escape with the escape pod, which doesn't help because the thing we're escaping from is attached to our body, so it would escape with us. We could do nothing, which, you know, it's probably what the nanobots want us to do. Or we could cut off the arm. You know, for once, I am going to take the logical action and just cut off the arm.
After searching the ship for a suitable tool, Nick could only find a small metal cutting saw. He was getting sick just thinking about what he was about to do. But it was impossible to delay. New bumps began to appear on his arm, and they were moving higher up the arm. The nanobots in his blood, tracking the adrenaline rush, tried to regulate Nick's condition as best they could.
I just thought the nanobot's gonna come out and try and like heal the wound as I cut it, because that's gonna make everything so much more difficult.
The first incision, and he immediately realizes the horror of what he's about to go through. Nanobots instantly heal the wound.
I was worried about this.
Oh crap! So we're gonna have to move as fast as we can and probably do it very brutally. This means that he has to cut faster than his arm is healing. Accepting the inevitable,
Nick began to soar. Okay, soar as fast as you can. Listen, nanobots, stop. It needs to come off. Can you not see the mouth screaming from my palm? We will bite you, nanobots.
Finishing the job, Nick passed out. Hours later, he opened his eyes. Nick took a quick look around his body. There didn't seem to be any new anomalies. It seemed to have worked out. Coming to his senses, he contacted the command center. He was informed that the mission was cancelled and he was returning to Earth. Nick wanted to get rid of the meteorite, throw it back into outer space, but the command strictly forbade him to do so. He felt uneasy that he still had a long way to go back with that thing on board. He wished he could just sleep most of the way through. However, some sort of knocking began to appear in the vents.
Is that my hand? Has it grown its own new body?
What could it be? The ship didn't warn of any damage. It must pass soon, thought Nick.
I've just thought, so we've cut off our arm and we have nanobites in our blood, right? I'm assuming the nanobites are in our blood. Does the arm also now have nanobites in it?
But the sound only intensified, disturbing Nick's sleep, waking him from his slumber every now and then. Gotta go check it out. Crawling all the more with one arm was not so easy. For a moment, he wanted to forget about the whole thing and crawl back. But the farther he advanced, the more distinct the sounds were heard. As he approached the object that was making those sounds, Nick froze in horror. He couldn't believe his eyes. What he saw was like something out of his most twisted nightmare. In front of the Nick was his hand, and from the hand grew a woman's head, which was slurping and moaning. Nick was ready to throw up. There was no doubt about it. A head with the face of his ex-girlfriend Marie was growing out of his hand. She looked at him with a cold stare, just like the last time they'd seen each other. Something had to be done immediately.
Huh. I mean, it'd be a little bit rude to throw her off the ship. They've not done anything, just mutating and growing. Can we not just put her in the warehouse? I think we should keep her.
Nick couldn't get rid of Marie's head, even in this form, but he still loved her. He contacted the command center and persuaded them that he should continue his research in space. Surprisingly, Command agreed. Every day he talked to her, but there was only an unintelligent moan in response. He tried feeding it, but the head would not accept water or regular food. Then, Nick wondered, if she grew from his flesh and blood, maybe she needed it. Maybe he could grow her whole body. And he began to give her his blood, while continuing to talk to her. One day, the head spoke. "I break up with you." Those words were like thunder. Nick didn't want to believe it. He thought he must have imagined it, and that it was just her regular moaning. But Marie's head kept repeating, "I break up with you." "But why?" "I break up with you." "That's not true." "I break up with you." "I guess we can still fix this." "I break up with you." "Maybe if I give her more blood." "I break up with you." "Stop! Stop saying those words." "I break up with you." "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell at you. You know I'm not like that. I'm really sorry." "I break up with you." "Right. It'll be fine. You'll see, it's just a phase. It'll pass, and we'll be together again, like we used to be. Like that time on the beach. Remember?" Nick continued to feed Marie with his blood, and she began to get bigger, with more and more new heads and mouths. The heads kept repeating it like a prison sentence. "I break up with you." "It's okay. Someday you'll change your mind. You'll see how much I do for you." Nick continued to feed those heads, But the blood wasn't enough for them, so he started cutting off pieces of flesh from himself and feeding them to the heads. For some reason, known only to command, the ship stopped healing Nick. But that didn't stop Nick. He continued to mutilate himself, chopping off bigger and bigger chunks of his flesh. As he lay dying on the floor, he looked at the thousands of mouths that had sprouted up all over the ship. The last words he heard were, "I break up with you." Okay, so keeping the head hand probably wasn't my smartest idea. How did they break up with me? Okay, I've learned my lesson. No heads of previous ex-girlfriends on the ship. We'll throw it off. Nick stood in his spacesuit in front of the airlock, and his hand was Marie's head. Even though he realized that it wasn't Marie at all, but some alien mutant that had taken her form, it wasn't easy for him to let her go. Maybe I could raise a new Marie, and this time we could make it work, Nick thought for a second. He felt ashamed of such thoughts and stepped confidently towards the airlock. Suddenly, Marie's head spoke. She looked at Nick with her blank, expressionless gaze and said, "I'm breaking up with you." Nick froze in terror. He never thought he'd hear those words from her again. The head continued to repeat, "I'm breaking up with you." Nick stood for a while longer, looking at Maria's head. "No, it's me dumping you." Nick opened the airlock and tossed Maria's head in there. After that, Nick went back to his quarters. For a while longer, the picture of Maria's face flying out into the black at distance stood before his eyes. He stared out of the porthole as the cosmic landscape, the blank space, was bursting with the bright lights of distant stars. Finally, he felt some relief. He looked at the many stars and thought about what lay ahead. Nick dreamed of what would happen when he returned to Earth. Maybe he would get some kind of reward for taking part in a mission like this and finding the mysterious meteorite. Despite all the horrors he'd endured, he finally felt like everything was going to be okay. Will it though? I mean, we are missing an arm, and there's still not 100% guarantee that we're not still infected. And again, I think simply because a part of us was once infected, we are going to be quarantined. We are going to be locked away in some kind of underground, unknown research facility. I don't think we're going to be okay. Okay, so we take the escape pod. Are we going to end on the planet then? Might be fun. We'll take the escape pod. For several months, his safe pod traveled through space until a ship from Earth came to the signal for help and brought him back to Earth. On Earth, he was immediately isolated in a special medical cell. He was prescribed a bunch of tests, and his condition was monitored every day. At first, Nick was relieved. He'd finally get some help. However, he was getting worse every day, and the doctors who took his tests did not answer questions. Nick was very scared. He didn't understand what was going on. Every day, his body became more and more covered with new tumors and mouths. He was hysterical, screaming, crying. He was yelling with all his many mouths, but no one heard him. Nick had lost all hope. All day long he lay there and cried, and the number of mouths in his body grew. He eventually turned into a biomass of flesh and mouths. The doctor stopped coming. In this state, he was left completely alone. So he lay for several more days without visitors. Maybe they'll decide to kill me, or I'll die on my own soon, he hoped. One day, someone did come. The man introduced himself as James. He was the manager of the laboratory where Nick was located. "Nick, we did all the possible tests and checks.
and I've come to tell you everything we've learned. The good news is that you're not contagious. Don't mind the suit. It's just a formality. In general, this is a very, very good news, considering what else we have been able to find out. James took a long pause. I don't know how to say it. It's just ridiculous, right? I look ridiculous, don't I? Would you explain to a cow the state of affairs on the farm? Of course not. That's absurd. A cow? What is he talking about? The guys on top, the big shots. He asked me to do it. Anyway, listen to me, Nick. I'll just say it bluntly. We found out that you are very tasty.
Okay, not what I was expecting you to say.
I understand your confusion. But you know, Nick, we live in a time that is... how should I put it? Synthetic. People have already tried everything in the world. Caught, raised, crossed, and subsequently ate everything they could. Do you know how much effort it took to raise a cow for Wagyu steaks? And now it's just a regular lunch. They're fed up. Today, people need something real. The bright, rich taste of which they have not yet tried. And it's you, Nick. You're that unique flavor everyone craves. Of course, as soon as we learned about your peculiarity, we would immediately begin to grow your kind. Perhaps we would even let you go. But since you left the ship, there was another accident, and we were unable to return this piece of meteorite that made you like this. You know, Nick, you're special. The only creature of its kind. Just don't worry. No one will kill you for sure. And your ability to regenerate and grow new parts is amazing. You're special and amazing, Nick. And you will serve for the pleasure of thousands, maybe the millions of mouths. But there is also bad news.
Is he kidding me?
Given your situation, you could ask to do everything under anesthesia. Find some humane way to get your meat. However, anesthesia will spoil the taste of your meat, Nick. It will become tasteless. I'll tell you a secret. It's so delicious because when you feel pain, a special hormone is released. Anyway, it seems like I've said everything they wanted me to say. I'll add it on my own behalf. I won't tell you anything, but the administration, they thought it was better for you than being in the dark and not understanding why you were being tortured like that.
You know, I would have thought they would have preferred it for me to be unknowingly tortured. I mean, wouldn't that create a better taste? One of even more pain? Nick didn't feel any better. Every day, he begged the meat collectors to let him go. It was all useless. Over the years of torture, Nick stopped talking. He lost the remnants of his humanity. All he has left is pain and 1,000 mouths to scream. God damn. I suppose silver lining is then, in the other ending when I said we were going to get isolated, we probably won't be eaten. Hopefully. God damn. Okay, escape pod was worse than I thought. I quite literally thought we were just going to go live out our life on the planet. What did we do? Nothing then? Nick nervously paced around the various compartments of the ship, unable to find a place of his own. He tried to find all sorts of reasons for what was happening to him. Maybe the ship overdosed him on drugs and he was hallucinated. Nick looked at his hand again, and mouth was still there. No hallucinations could last that long. Maybe I should ask the ship what's happening to me. I mean, do we trust the ship? No. Do we trust the
people on Earth, even less so we'll ask the ship.
Nick decided to ask the ship what was happening to him. After all, the ship has his body under 24-hour surveillance. The ship responded to Nick's request. After interacting with the meteorite, your DNA structure began to change. It's hard to say exactly what caused this drastic change. Your condition is being monitored. All data is recorded and sent to the Earth. Analysis and observation. Are you kidding me? How do I stop it? There is no way to stop the mutation process at this stage.
But there must be a way to cure me.
I'm not aware of it.
Then send a ship to Earth. See if they can help me there.
I can't send the ship toward Earth.
Damn it! Alright, then I'll use the escape pod.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
Why is that?
The task of our mission has changed.
What the hell kind of task? I'm mutating. Hello? I need help now.
The new objective of this mission is to observe and investigate Specimen A and B.
Specimen A and B? What are these?
Specimen A is a meteorite delivered by Nick Stranger aboard the ship.
And Specimen B?
Specimen B is Nick Stranger. Nick's vision went dark.
He suddenly felt how enclosed a space he was in, and that he had nowhere to run. His heart was pounding wildly in his chest. Noticing this, the ship immediately injected him with a tranquilizer. Waking up, Nick found himself on his bed. He had a hard time accepting the reality he found himself in. Time passed, and his condition deteriorated significantly.
Oh, damn, we're mutated a lot differently. Wait, are those all eyes? I wonder why we're mutating differently. Is it based on the atmosphere of Earth?
More and more mouths and limbs grew on his body. He tried to escape via escape pod, but the ship wouldn't let him. He thought about ejecting himself into outer space, but the ship wouldn't let him. It's not even a life. Nick decided to take desperate measures. However, he could only do temporary damage to himself. The ship would immediately heal all his wounds. No matter what he tried to do, no matter how hard he tried, it was getting him nowhere. At one point, Nick just lay down and started screaming. His body was getting worse. He screamed louder and louder with all his many mouths, and his body continued to deform, swelling in some places and gaining new limbs in others. Nick's body sprawled further, filling the space of the ship. Even transformed into a monstrous creature, Nick still retained consciousness. He thought back to the good old days, the time when he was human. He remembered once walking on the beach and having a girl he loves. Tormented by his own memories, unable to escape or die, he screamed every day in agony. And 1,000 mouths screamed with him.
Oh damn. Silver lining, I was very beautiful. I mean, at least we're not being eaten, okay? Then again, I'm gonna go back to that. It could be worse. Okay, so trusting the ship, definitely a mistake. Let's not speak to it.
Nick decided not to do anything. He went back to his room and lay on the bed. He lay there for a while, listening to his sensations. He didn't feel any pain, but he felt a kind of heaviness hanging over him from all sides. Gradually, he got worse. He couldn't get out of bed. More and more organs and parts grew on his body. Somewhere on his body, eyes appeared. Somewhere, mouths appeared, limbs lengthened, and he became the branches of trees. New limbs grew out of them, on which other organs and body parts grew.
Okay, my question is though, do I have like sensations from all these extra parts? Like, can I now see from every eye I've grew? Because that feels very disorientating, especially considering how expanded we are. His thoughts began to lose clarity and sense. He no longer remembered the good days, no longer worried about the bad ones. He tried to utter words, but instead, they were unintelligible, sounds produced by his various mouths. The ship continued to sustain life in Nick. It fed him, treating him when he accidentally hurt himself, and watching him. As time went on, Nick stopped realizing where he was and what he was. He was very scared, and therefore with all his many mouths, he was constantly screaming. The cry of 1,000 mouths every day echoed throughout the ship, but there was no one to answer it.
I think there's still a couple of endings we need. What am I not? Oh, do we need to go back to the very start and choose to explore the ship rather than explore the planet? I mean, that may lead us to not actually interacting with the meteorite at all. Wait, so can I choose just to go straight for the escape pod rather than find out what's happened? So now I clicked to explore the ship rather than go and scan the planet, and it just took us straight back into these events. So maybe it's affected the timeline because we haven't actually got any DNA, like data samples from the planet yet.
As soon as Nick entered the escape pod, the ship's artificial intelligence spoke to him. Nick, I can't let you go. You have to fix the ship.
The ship is doomed, let me out. Listen, if I stay here and fix the ship, I'm getting biomuted. So, it's doomed.
The primary importance is the safety of the ship. I can't fix the external damage. You have to do it.
I want off this damn ship, thank.
I'm sorry. I can't let you do that.
Wait, can I actually convince him to let me go? So wait, if I say it's doomed and if I refuse?
Eventually, the damage will lead to the complete destruction of the ship. But if the ship is destroyed, then I will die, right? Absolutely right. The chances of your survival in the event of the destruction of the ship are 0.
In that case, I need to use the escape pod.
Access to the escape pod is unlocked.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, use the escape pod.
For several years, this safe pod traveled through space.
Holy crap, okay, that's not humans.
Until one day, along with other space debris, an extraterrestrial life form ship took it on board.
Wait, lizard aliens!
These creatures, which looked like overgrown lizards, were greatly surprised by their find. Nick was equally surprised. After studying him a little, the aliens found a use for Nick. He, like other passengers of the ship, will not remain idle.
Don't suppose you guys understand English, do you?
So Nick became a slave. He was sent to the mines on a planet unknown to him, where he performed a simple task of extracting a rare mineral. The aliens made spoons and other kitchen utensils from his mineral. Nick didn't know about that. All he knew was that he had to dig, and if he didn't dig, he would be beaten and wouldn't be allowed to eat. So Nick was digging.
You know, this is a rather nice mineral to be making spoons out of. Then I just stab one of them and steal the whip.
All day long, practically non-stop, he was digging.
How many spoons do you guys really need?
He even began to find some sort of solace in his activities.
I mean, you guys don't need to whip me. Clearly, I'm already digging. I'm not going to work faster but you put me in pain. That's very counterintuitive.
The monotonous repetition of the same actions carried his thoughts away from his horrible place.
Come on, we can dig through this stuff.
At some point, Nick accepted his fate. As long as he was digging, everything was fine. He didn't have the energy or time to think about the position he was in.
So is this better or worse than staying prisoner on the ship? I mean, yes, I would have mutated, but at least I wouldn't be in pain.
Nick began to worship these crystals. The guardian lizards became his food-giving gods. Nick no longer regretted his decision to leave the ship. He didn't think of Marie. He forgot about that day on the beach. He stopped dreaming altogether. Forgetting his past, he became a biological ore mining machine. However, the lizards were incapable of appreciating his hard work and resilience. He died of lung disease, and his remains were thrown into a cesspool with other bodies of dead slaves.
Damn, wasn't even eating this time. Then again, if I've got lung problems, they probably wouldn't want to eat me. Is that the last ending, or have I got one more to find? Okay, so there's one more ending, and I think I know how to get it, and it's going to greatly amuse me. Can I just go straight back to bed? Okay, we can just choose to ignore it. The ship might break down around us, but it's fine. I'm going to go to sleep. I like how the ship didn't even argue with me for that choice.
The siren continued to make noise, reminding of the danger, but Nick was desperately trying to fall asleep again. He just wanted to plunge into his dream world. With all his heart, he hated waking up in this place. It was only in dreams that he could find his peace. He didn't want to open his eyes anymore, even if it was all an illusion. Just dreams. He wanted to stay in them forever. Nick persisted, hugging the pillow, just to be on that beach one more time, to see her one more time, escape from this technological prison. Gradually, the sound began to fade. He started to feel his body floating. Perhaps the gravitational field has failed. The ship was breaking down more and more. It was getting hard to breathe. Suddenly, he was looking at his body floating in the middle of the room, and a blinding bright light appeared from the porthole. Nick turned towards the light and felt the incredible love and warmth that envelops his whole body. He began to fly towards the light and left this ill-fated ship once and for all. Somewhere up ahead, he could hear the sound of waves.
Oh yeah, that's completely destroyed. I told you the ship was doomed. So, that's our last ending. I do kind of feel bad that in most endings I just become a biomutant and then a food source. So, let's think about this logically. Potentially the best ending might have been when I sent us down to that planet. Because we didn't biomutate. Yes, we were isolated, but we were free, we got food, and we were hallucinating most of the time, so we were happy. God damn. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time here. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. That was Spooky Day, and I'll catch you next time, guys.